Hi, we're going to be doing a little bit of math today, getting some stuff ready, but I wanted to go ahead and let you know what you're going to need for the lesson today. You are going to need a pencil or a crayon or a pen or something like that. You're also going to need a page out of your workbook, so go ahead and grab this guy right here, your workbook. And we're going to need page number 81. It's pretty easy to find. It's the one with a bunch of little astronauts jumping around all over it. We're going to talk about some directions today. So these astronauts are going to help us being able to figure out what our directions are once we have had a little conversation about it.
Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about some of our directional words. We've been talking about positional words for the last couple lessons, or at least the last lesson we talked about like just above, just below, beside, that sort of thing. We're going to talk about a little bit more words that help us know what thing we might be talking about if we're having a conversation about something. So today we're going to do something that's going to help us out with being able to tell directions. It's also going to help us out with a very, very important game in your life, and that is the hokey pokey. Okay, the hokey pokey is a very important milestone that you need to go through in your life. Everybody needs to play the hokey pokey at some point in their life, and today I'm going to help you out with a very important concept of it that involves you being able to do the right thing in the hokey pokey. Okay, so the hokey pokey is something where somebody will tell you to do a certain dance move. And it involves you knowing certain things. And those things are the directions left and right. The directions left and right are some of the directions that we use to help us tell other people what thing we might be talking about. So I'm going to do a little bit of the hokey pokey. And then I'll explain exactly why my fingers are all painted up afterwards, okay? So one of the things that often happens with the hokey pokey, and you're going to have to look at my back while I'm doing this, because I'm going to use my directional words to talk about different parts of me, okay? So the hokey pokey kind of goes like this. You put your left hand in. So I said put your left hand in. Which one's my left hand? I don't know. I got two hands. I could probably take a guess and say this one, but that's not it. My left hand is over here. So if I'm doing the hokey pokey and I'm going to put my left hand in, I better not put this one over here, okay? You put your left hand in, you put your left hand out. You put your left hand in and then you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. And that's what it's all about. Then you got to put your right hand in. You put your right hand in, you put your right hand out. You put your right hand in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. And that's what it's all about. Yeah. So when you do the hokey pokey, they say you got to put a left hand in, you got to put a right hand in, you end up putting your left foot in, you put your right foot in. But if you don't know which one's your left and which one's your right, you're going to end up looking silly. You're going to be like, I don't know which one it is. I'll just put in any hand and maybe it'll be right. So today we're going to talk about some things that will help us with figuring out which one's our left hand and which one's our right hand. And the reason you were looking at me from the back is because the left and right are kind of like from seeing things from your own eyes. So which one will be on your left-hand side looking out of my eyeballs? That's why I did it this way, so you could see my left hand facing the same way as I am, okay? So it's kind of where you're at and through your eyes, which one's on your left. To help me and to help you, I kind of painted my fingernails up today. I look beautiful, and it'll help you figure out the different directions, okay? So my left hand, I have made green. Not because green matches anything, not because green says go, anything like that. The real one comes down for this one. I made my right hand red because right and red both start with R, which is an R sound. So that helps me remember that this is my right hand. So I put a little bit of red on my fingernails to help me remember that while I'm learning it. Now in your case, you might not want to paint up all your fingernails. You might not have red fingernail polish. This is marker, so I have plenty of that. So one thing you can do at home while you're working with left and right is make yourself a little red strip of paper. Usually we do this with a little red ribbon, but I can't send ribbon to you guys to work on this.
So what you can do is just make a little piece of paper, cut it out, and get a piece of tape. And then you're gonna put it around your wrist on your right hand, okay? This is a lot easier with somebody else doing it, helping you with it. And that way, you have something that is red on your right hand. That'll help you figure that out. Another thing that can help you with the left and right directions is this letter. So I pulled out my letter L. I'm going to teach you one of the coolest tricks that I've ever learned as a human being as soon as I find a marker. The letter L, left starts with L, and it just so happens that when you put your left hand on a board or out in front of you like this, it looks like that letter. So if I put my left hand up on a board or out in the air in front of me and I'm looking at it, I can use it to draw the letter L. And that helped me learn it when I was your age, working with left and right. I would always be like, you would just see me walking around like this. Which one do you want me to do? The left? Do you want me to turn to the left? Oh, well, this one's the L, and that I know that that's an L. So that helped me know my left from my right, okay? If you put your right hand up and you put that on the board, that does not make an L. That makes a backwards L. It does turn into an R if you're really messing around, but we don't want to talk about that. It'll be extra special, confusing. We just want to talk about left and right. Now, some of the stuff that I was talking to you about involves it being from your point of view, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of turn around, and you guys are going to follow me around, and then I'm going to talk about things, either to my left or to my right a little bit. And you're going to see if you can figure out which one I'm talking about. Now, what I want you to do at home while you're looking at this video is I want you to go left or right. If I don't know my left from my right, put those hands up, okay? Look for that letter L. That's the L, so you can tell which one is to the left, okay? Let's find a thing that we can do. Come with me. Okay. Now, I want to go, actually just pause it right there for a second. I wasn't ready. I didn't have anything to point to, but I found something. Okay, so I have cupcakes up on my wall. I want you to tell me, or at least tell yourself back home, which one of these cupcakes is to the left of the star. Which one is to the left of the star? I'm looking up at them. I don't know, because I'm still learning my left and my right, and that's totally fine. We're just talking about it today. So I'm going to look at it like this. I'm staring right at that star. I'm going to put my hands up like this. I know that this one is my right hand because it's got all this red stuff all over it. But I also know that this is the letter L, but this is not the letter L. So the cupcake that Mr. McCardle wants is actually this one. This one is the one on the left of the star. I used my little L to help me out with that. Let's go look at my little tree and try to figure out which one I'm talking about over here. Looking at my tree on my wall, which owls are to the right of the tree house? Which owls are to the right of the tree house? I want you to look at it. If you don't know your left from your right, keep in mind that you can always use your hands every time. Literally, for the next year and a half, you should all be walking around like this until you know left from right. It's not a problem. So I'm looking right at the tree house. I want to use my two hands to kind of help me out with that. I know that this one is all red. It's got all this red stuff all over it. And red and right start with the same letter. So over here, I know that from my tree house, these three friends over here are to the right. And that helps me out with figuring that out. And again, we know that left starts with L and it'll probably be over here. So since I said which ones are to the right, I want you to point out those ones over there. If I would have said which owls are to the left of my treehouse, you would have talked about these guys. So it kind of depends on what somebody's asking. What is the teacher asking you to do? Are you supposed to find the left or the right? You're going to do some of that on your work today. And this is why on our page, all of our astronauts are looking away and you see all these awesome backs of astronauts, okay? Your work today is to circle in red each astronaut's right hand and right foot. So you are looking at them. Their right foot and right hand are always going to be on the right side of them, okay? So think about it. If they painted their fingernails, which fingernails would they paint? If they put their little ribbon on, which hand would they put their ribbon on? So you want to look at your astronaut and you want to think about what their hands would make to help you out. So look at this little guy right here, okay? He's got one hand over here and one hand over here. So if you're looking at him the same way you'd be looking at me, let's say I'm this astronaut. And let's say this astronaut put his hands up like this. Well, which one of those would make the L and which one would make the R? Or which one would be the right hand? This one still makes the L. It makes the L every time, especially if you're looking at it from out here, okay? So for this little astronaut right here, my little pencil, I would look at my astronaut and say, this one would make an L, so that's not the one that I want to circle. This one would not make an L, so I know that these two over here are on his right-hand side. It's the same for his hand and his foot. So once you figure out which hand is right, is the right hand, you can figure out which foot is the right hand or right foot because they are on the same side of the body. Okay? So go ahead and look at these. Try to figure out which hand is the right hand and which foot is the right foot. Circle it and take a picture and send it to your teacher, and we'll look at those directional words. And if you end up painting your fingernails and your parents are like, why did you paint your fingernails? Well, you can tell them that Mr. McCardle also painted his fingernails to help us figure out right from left. We'll see you next time.